I need hearing aids. No, I can hear Swati properly. I could hear Rajiv Bhai Sahab also. Rohit, can you hear everybody?
Yeah, now
Yes,
Dr.
I can hear everybody.
Yeah.
Kamra Sahab, now you can start. Kamra Sahab,
जी
start कर सकते हैं. You can start. Now YouTube पे सारा नजर आ रहा है. Only 6 panelists नजर आ रहे हैं.
ओके, मतलब ऑफिशियली अब स्टार्ट कर देना दिस.
Yes.
Right. So we can say lights, camera and action. मखमूर देहलवी साहब का एक उर्दू में शेर है, मोहब्बत के लिए कुछ खास दिल मखसूस होते हैं, ये वो नगमा है जो हर साज पे गाया नहीं जाता. तो जैसे मोहब्बत के लिए कुछ खास दिल मखसूस होते हैं, वैसे ही किसी का दर्द समझने के लिए, किसी की पीड़ा समझने के लिए, संवेदनशील होने के लिए भी कुछ खास दिल होते हैं. और वैसे ही कुछ खास दिल वाले आज हमारे साथ हैं. आज वर्ल्ड साइट डे है, विश्व दृष्टि दिवस, और हमारे साथ दूसरे की पीड़ा समझने वाले जो मखसूस दिल हैं, उनसे एक एक करके मिलते हैं. हमारे साथ हैं जयपुर के प्रसिद्ध समाज सेवी और अपने आप में एक आइकॉन जयपुर के मिस्टर राजीव अरोड़ा, और हमारे साथ हैं भावना जगवानी जी, जिनको किसी की भी पीड़ा देखकर जैसे कोई ममता उमड़ आती है, वैसा दिल है. मैं तो कई बार ये कहा करता हूं कि परेशानियां समेटकर सारे जहान की जब कुछ ना बन सका तो भावना जी का दिल बना दिया. इनको हर एक की पीड़ा उसी प्रकार महसूस होती है. और जयपुर की मशहूर कॉर्नियल सर्जन जो आई बैंक से भी जुड़ी हुई हैं, डॉक्टर स्वाति तोमर हमारे साथ हैं. और जो हमारे सारे MFJCF के प्रोग्राम को सपोर्ट करते हैं, पावर देते हैं, रोहित साबू जी भी आज हमारे साथ हैं. और आज विश्व दृष्टि दिवस पर हमारे साथ एक ऐसी शख्सियत है, विश्व प्रसिद्ध, वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड, जिनके बारे में हम ये कह सकते हैं कि सूरज धूप बांटकर खुश है, सूरज धूप बांटकर खुश है, और डॉक्टर राव रोशनी बांटकर. तो हमारे साथ LV प्रसाद हैदराबाद से डॉक्टर राव हैं, डॉक्टर GN राव. हम उनका स्वागत करते हैं और हमारे चेयरमैन राजीव अरोड़ा जी से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि वो डॉक्टर राव का फॉर्मल वेलकम करें और उनकी थोड़ी इंट्रोडक्शन भी हमें सबको दें. जी राजीव जी.
नमस्कार रवि जी. रवि का मतलब भी सूरज होता है. तो हाँ, एक जना धूप बांट रहा है, एक जना रोशनी बांट रहा है. जी, बहुत खुशी की बात है कि आज ये जो वेबिनार हो रही है उसमें पद्मश्री डॉक्टर गुल्लापल्ली एन राव, पूरा नाम इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ मैं, GN राव साहब को नाम लोग पता करना चाहेंगे, हमारे बीच में उपस्थित हैं. ये जो प्रोग्राम है, मैं बताना चाहता हूँ डॉक्टर राव को एंड ऑल द ऑडियंस को, ये जयपुर सिटीजन फोरम का एक इनिशिएटिव है. जयपुर सिटीजन फोरम जयपुर के एनलाइटेड सिटीजन्स का एक संगठन है जो जयपुर में आर्ट, कल्चर, सोशल वर्क की फील्ड में लंबे समय से काम कर रहा है. और MFJCF भी GCF का एक पार्ट है, जिसके माध्यम से हम लोग कैरेगिवर ऑर्गन ट्रांसप्लांट की अवेयरनेस पूरे प्रदेश में, पूरे देश में फैलाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. एज यू ऑल नो कि लॉकडाउन के बाद एक्टिविटीज किसी भी एनजीओ की, किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की कम हो जाती हैं, तो ये जो भी नया मीडियम निकला है वर्चुअल मीटिंग का, हमने सोचा कि वी शुड स्टार्ट दैट। और इसकी वजह से जेसीएफ ने एक कार्यक्रम शुरू करा, हम और तुम। तो आपस में हम लोगों से बात कर सकें, कुछ पर्सनैलिटीज को हम अपने बीच में लेके आ सकें, वी कैन इंटरेक्ट विद देम, ट्राई टू गेट नॉलेज फ्रॉम देम। और इसी सीरीज के अंदर हम लोग ने ये बात शुरुआत करी थी, अमीश त्रिपाठी जैसे राइटर्स में आए, डॉक्टर सुनील श्रॉफ आए, इट्स ए लॉन्ग लिस्ट, बॉलीवुड के स्टार्स आए, हेमा मालिनी जी, गोविंदा जी, पॉलिटिशियंस, स्टेट्समैन जिन्होंने बड़ा इम्पैक्ट करा है सोसाइटी को, आनंद शर्मा जी, डॉक्टर शशि थरूर। इस तरीके से एक लंबी लिस्ट है जो हम तुम हमारी इस सीरीज के अंदर हमारे बीच में आए। टुडे वी आर हियर टू help to cure and protect the world's vision by raising awareness about the proper care, risks and precautions. और that is why we all say, भावना जी इस काम में बहुत लंबे समय से लगी हुई हैं, donate eyes। हम आज उस पर बात करेंगे। Let your eyes overcome the darkness of someone's life। ये हमारा एक उद्देश्य होना चाहिए जिंदगी का। तो मैं आज एक ऐसे महान व्यक्तित्व को इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहता हूं जो हमारे बीच में है, डॉक्टर जीएन राव। डॉक्टर जीएन राव, आफ्टर सक्सेसफुल करियर इन द यूएस एज एन एकेडमिक ऑप्थेमोलॉजिस्ट इन 97, established the LV Prasad Eye Institute in Hyderabad 31 years ago and is the founder and chair of the institute। डॉक्टर राव के पास इतनी लंबी सारी पढ़ाई करी हुई है, लेकिन I would like to make it short। Dr. Rao received his basic medical education in India, afterwards in US, and he was trained at the Tufts University School of Medicine in Boston, and later at the School of Medicine, University of Rochester, where he continues on the faculty till 1986। फिर 86 के बाद डॉक्टर राव आ गए हिंदुस्तान में। इन्होंने ये बीड़ा उठाया कि हिंदुस्तान में आए डोनेशन के प्रति, कॉर्निया सर्जरी के प्रति मैं काम कर सकूं। अपनी जन्मभूमि को उन्होंने अपनी कर्म भूमि बनाया। देन ही स्टार्टेड वर्किंग हियर इन इंडिया। आपको बहुत सारे एकेडमिक अवार्ड्स मिले हैं, रिसर्च अचीवमेंट्स मिले हैं। ऑनररी डॉक्टरेट फ्रॉम द यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ मेलबर्न, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ न्यू साउथ वेल्स ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ऑल्सो एनटीआर यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ हेल्थ केयर साइंस इन इंडिया, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ ब्रेडफोर्ड यूके एंड सो ऑन। उसके बाद आप प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ एकेडमिया ऑप्थेमोलॉजिकल इंटरनेशनल ग्रुप में मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट एकेडमिशियन जो दुनिया के अंदर हैं आई केयर के लिए, ऑप्थेमोलॉजी के लिए, उसमें आप माने जाते हैं। ही इज ऑल्सो विजिटिंग प्रोफेसर टू मेनी यूनिवर्सिटीज इन यूएस, यूरोप, ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड एशिया। मोर देन 300 पेपर्स published in renowned international journals, and also he is an editorial boards of several international journals of ऑप्थेमोलॉजी। ये डॉक्टर स्वाति की उम्र बड़ी अच्छे से समझ सकती है कि हमारे आई केयर के लिए, आई सर्जरी के लिए डॉक्टर राव विश्व पितामह की तरह पूरे देश के अंदर। ही इज ऑल्सो द फॉर्मर सेक्रेटरी जनरल एंड लेकर चेयर ऑफ द बोर्ड एंड सी ऑफ इंटरनेशनल एजेंसी फॉर प्रिवेंशन ऑफ ब्लाइंडनेस, in which role played a pivotal role in developing and fostering the global initiative to eliminate avoidable blindness along with WHO Vision 2020, the right to sight in partnership with the World Health Organization। And अभी ऑनर्स की अगर हम उनकी बात करें तो इतने सारे अवार्ड्स ऑनर्स हैं कि मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि मैं कितने बोलूं। डॉक्टर राव मुझे माफ करेंगे, मैं सारे नहीं बोल पाऊंगा, लेकिन यहाँ पे कुफर का, न्यूमैन का, बर्नार्डो स्टिफ कोड मैगल अवार्ड, जॉर्ज सिजिल मैगल अवार्ड, वर्ल्ड कॉर्निया कांग्रेस मैगल अवार्ड। तो एक लंबी लिस्ट के लाइफ टाइम अचीवमेंट की। मैं डॉक्टर राव से बात करूंगा, उससे पहले ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि MFJCF बड़े सक्सेसफुली जयपुर में काम कर रहा है। और अभी आपने देखा KBC पे कुछ दिनों पहले प्रोग्राम आया, डॉक्टर श्रॉफ उसके अंदर बोल रहे थे। उन्होंने, भावना जगवानी जी ने, जिन्होंने जयपुर के अंदर आए डोनेशन के लिए और अंगदान के लिए अलग जगह है, उनके बारे में बोला। लेकिन ये सब काम हो पाते हैं जब पीछे से कोई भामाशाह, कोई दानदाता हमारे साथ जुड़ता है। और ऐसे समय में मेरे मित्र हैं और जयपुर की एक बहुत ही मशहूर इंडस्ट्रियल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, लंबे समय से काम कर रही है जयपुर में, पूरी दुनिया में उसको एनबीसी के नाम से जानते हैं, और कंपनी का नाम है एनईआई, नेशनल इंजीनियरिंग इंडस्ट्री। उसके रोहित साबू जी को आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक हिम फॉर हिज सपोर्टिंग फॉर आवर कॉज एंड जनरस फाइनेंशियल हेल्प गिविंग टू MFJCL. Without such help, no program can run. We hope this bearing of help will keep rolling, Rohit. ये जो bearing है चलता ही रहना चाहिए wheel की तरह. The world is beautiful. Make sure you protect your eyesight so you don't miss it. Take care, stay healthy and be safe on the occasion of World Sight Day जो 2 दिन पहले था. इसका मैसेज हम सबको आज दे रहे हैं. And I would like to request Ravi Kamra ji to take over and start proceedings. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू राजीव जी, थैंक यू सो मच। और जैसे ही आपको प्रॉब्लम आ रही थी डॉक्टर राव की इंट्रोडक्शन देने में कि इतना कुछ मतलब डॉक्टर राव के बारे में बोला जा सकता है, तो मैं इनको समाप्त करने के लिए शेक्सपियर की 4 लाइन में इनका व्यक्तित्व समाप्त करता हूं। जूलियस सीजर में शेक्सपियर कहते हैं कि हिज लाइफ इज जेंटल एंड द एलिमेंट सो मिक्स्ड इन हिम दैट द नेचर माइट स्टैंड अप and say to all the world, this is the man. So this is the man is with us today, and we have welcomed him. Now we'll request Dr. Rao to please come and let us share, Dr. Rao, from your memory lanes, your first crush with the concept of eyes, how you chose this field of eyes. The eyes are the most beautiful organ of human body. And shayars and poets, they have written lines and lines and songs about eyes. How you chose eyes to be as your profession and to give light to this world. Dr. Rao, please.
Thank you very much, Ravi ji, Rajiv ji, for that more than generous introduction. My choosing eye care and ophthalmology was very easy because my father was an ophthalmologist. So there was a gentle nudging during my medical college days in that direction. The second thing was that I did not have any other specialty that I particularly liked. So that's why I entered into ophthalmology. And that's been a great journey, and I've been very privileged that I have had personal first-hand experience with every aspect of eye care and ophthalmology. Patient care, teaching, research, capacity building, leadership, management, etc., etc. So I've been very fortunate and learned from a lot of people around the world along the journey. And those experiences and learnings have certainly helped in the LV Prasad Eye Institute creation and also running it for the past 33 years. So what I'd like to share with you today is we're all caught up in this very unprecedented crisis, the problem of this pandemic, COVID-19. Everybody in the eye care world is reeling under the pressure of this pandemic, not able to figure out what to do now. I'd like to now share my screen and share some of my views in this respect. If you look at the global picture of blindness, there are nearly 253 million people that are visually impaired in some fashion, where their daily functions are affected. And to that, if we also look at people who have near vision problems, that are unable to read, do some of the tasks that are required to be done close up, there is 1.1 billion more, in addition to 253 million. So that means nearly 1.5 billion people in the world are affected with some form of vision impairment in the world. What are the top 10 countries with the highest numbers? Of course, as in most cases or most disease entities, unfortunately, our country has dubious distinction in this also. We are at the top of the world with the largest magnitude of the problem of vision impairment in the world. And while there has been significant improvement over the past nearly 3 decades, from a prevalence of 4.58% in the people above age 50 to 3.37%, the absolute numbers, however, have increased because of the increase in the global population and also the aging of the global population. One fact that we all have to remember living in a country like India is that 89% of all the problem is in the low and middle income countries of the world. And also blindness and vision impairment disproportionately affects the women. So aging of the population is a challenge. More and more people in the world are above 65. And as this number increases, the challenge of blindness and vision impairment will increase. The recent estimates in the World Report on Vision that was put out by the World Health Organization about 3-4 months ago shows nearly 2.2 billion people with some kind of vision impairment that affect their daily life. In addition, 1 billion people of which where vision improvement could have been easily avoided. Closer to home, in India, the vision impairment, we are supposed to be having 8.8 million people blind and about 5-6 times more that who have significant vision impairment that affect their daily functioning. So the total visual impairment is about 57 million people in our country. A recent national survey conducted by the Government of India has demonstrated that these figures have come down to about 5 million. But there is a dispute about it. Just 3 days ago, on the World Sight Day, the vision loss expert group, which work on the global burden of disease, has shown that this actual number is about double this number. That's about 8 to 9 million in India blind, about 100 million with vision impairment. So that's the situation in terms of the problem. What did we do until recently? Just before the problem of COVID, we have had some successes. One is improved cataract care was one of our major successes because between 1990 and 2015, the number of cataract surgeries in our country increased from 1.9 million to nearly 7 million annually. That's been a big success. In addition, the outcomes or the intervention have also become more successful because the quality of cataract surgery has also improved significantly across the country. In addition, we also developed many approaches for the correction of uncorrected refractive error, that is, need for a pair of glasses. That solutions have been found and many approaches have been put in place, even though we still have a long way to go in that area. In addition, we also made sure that in our country, there is greater availability of subspecialty services in ophthalmology across the country. Eye banking has certainly improved. Now, annually, we have been able to harvest nearly 50,000 corneas. And you in Jaipur can be very proud of your record because Eye Bank Society of Rajasthan story is one of the great success stories in India and is a model for the country. We also have created programs in other areas like diabetic retinopathy, or the problem related to newborn premature children called retinopathy of prematurity, glaucoma, special emphasis on children's care with the development of many children's eye care centers across the country. In education, we have increased the number of educational programs for all cadres of eye care professionals across the country in a significant manner, as well as improving the quality of educational programs. While we still have a lot of work to do in these areas, certainly progress was made until now. We are also seeing the beginning of more and more online educational programs over the past 3-4 years. And in terms of infrastructure across the country, we have made progress at all levels of care from primary to advanced tertiary care. We have created the model of primary care vision center, and this is being replicated all across the country in increasing numbers now. We also have added many secondary level eye care centers, both in the governmental and non-governmental sectors. And same is the story with the tertiary centers. So overall, India has become a leader in eye care among all the developing countries. In terms of technology, we also have succeeded in leveraging all the advances in medical technology, information technology, and mobile technology. And that has helped us to reach more and more people and enhance the quality of both diagnosis and treatment of many of the eye problems. Financial sustainability has always been a challenge. The traditional ways of meeting the requirements included the fee-for-service from the paying patients, that is the internal generation of revenues, the support from the government, and Indian government has always been very supportive of prevention of blindness and eye care since the days of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and that support continued to increase over the years. The number of non-governmental organizations in India who have created outstanding models of eye care delivery. And this sector in India is very vibrant. And these models have become very useful for the government and other sectors to replicate. And they have also become for the rest of the model for the rest of the world. We have an excellent culture of philanthropy in our country. Local philanthropy has made eye care facilities possible in many parts of the country. And these centers are becoming more and more and of better quality all across the country. So that's been the progress until just before the COVID crisis hit us, a major crisis, and this resulted in a significant drop in the patient volumes across the entire eye care sector. There's been closure or disruption of all education programs for all cadres of eye care professionals. There's a lot of concern about the employment for every cadre. For the first time in my memory, I'm seeing doctors with a postgraduate qualification worried about employment. And that's not a very healthy. There's concern about employment. Because of the financial crunch, many hospitals and many centers across the country had to lay off people. So we lost valuable, well-trained human resources into which we have invested over the years to create that human force for eye care. All these together created significant threat to the sustainability of the eye care sector in the country. Disruption happened in all kinds of screening programs because of the social distancing requirements, sanitary requirements, masks, etc. Eye camps are completely discontinued, and so is the case with mobile programs. So the impact of all this is weakened eye health system across the country, and that is likely to again lead to an increase in the backlog of blindness and vision impairment in our country. So what is it that we probably have to do in the post-COVID era? I believe the future model, at least a model that I'd like to suggest, is a 3T model, where those organizations and those groups which combine the talent, the human talent, with the currently available technology, and then also bring in the element of tenderness that is expected from health professional and healthcare, will be the winners. In isolation, none of these three factors will be very successful in future. We have to also bring in a caring environment in healthcare sector. Gone are the days, I think, where technology alone can do, or a talented individual alone can do and succeed. So we have to build all this capacity. We also have to build local capacity at every part of India, in all the sectors, whether it is government, non-governmental, non-private, or purely private sector or corporate sector. Let us imagine cataract as an example. Until now, the model has been high volume eye camps, doing hundreds of surgeries in a single day kind of model that has pushed up the volumes across the country. At least in the immediate future, following the COVID, that cannot work, that will not work. So we have to think of an alternate way, and also for the long-term sustainability and higher quality care. That is to strengthen the ophthalmologist force. I believe we have nearly 30,000 ophthalmologists in the country. We have to increase the percentage of competent surgeons among them significantly by special emphasis, special focus, and special training facilities. Just imagine even half of them performing 4 cataract surgeries per day. For an average surgeon, a cataract surgery takes about half an hour to 40 minutes. That means we are talking about 2 to 3 hours a day to do 4 surgeries. That will give us 60,000 surgeries a day across the country. That will translate to over 14 million cataract surgeries, double the current volume, even if only half the ophthalmologists perform 4 surgeries a day. That's the kind of thinking we should begin to put our focus on. Instead of ICAMs and large volumes, make more ophthalmologists do cataract surgery across the country uniformly, a uniform distribution of the burden of blindness across all ophthalmologists in the country. So then this becomes a part of a system of high quality, comprehensive care. So we have to create well-trained professionals that will give us desirable results following any kind of intervention. So these professionals should be 3H in my view. Those who know exactly what the problem is and understand the problem and what to do about it. They also have skillful hands for surgery and the right kind of heart to tackle the entire problem in our country and provide the care to everybody in our country, because more than half the people in our country go to sleep every day hungry. Even those people require good quality eye care. So in education, we have to provide regular high quality courses. There should be emphasis on continuing education to all well-trained people. We also have to expose them to alternatives. They have to get more exposure to rural eye health because that kind of migration will be demanded in the future. Exposure to the other possibilities to eye care professionals, that they can participate in teaching, they can spend in research, technology innovation, etc. And every education program should also have proper assessment at the conclusion of the program so that the proper outcomes will be attained. What we should aim for also is the creation of mentors in all the education programs that goes beyond teaching of the overall development of the trainees. That includes empathy, to create a caring professional. One of the senior vice chairs of Google, who takes care of healthcare technology development, was mentioning that Google and other major technology companies will develop technologies to spare the professionals from memorizing everything. At that time that they don't have to spend for that will be spent on additional care to each individual patient that they provide necessary care. So in future, we will be demanding a caring professional. And also we have to look at, can we also become better doctors beyond just surgeons? Surgeon is the first step, ophthalmologist the second step, and the doctor the final step. Atul Gawande in his book, Better, talks of 3 core requirements for medical professionals and in medicine in general: diligence, doing things right, and ingenuity. Diligence is to give sufficient attention to detail in everything that we do. Examples as simple as washing hands, that we are hearing more and more now during the pandemic time. An example was the care of the wounded soldiers in the many wars during the World Wars, Vietnam War, etc. Polio eradication, which has been a successful program throughout the world, is another such example of diligence. To do right. Medicine is troubled by human failings because all doctors are, after all, human. And their failings is reflected in some of the poorer results. So there should always be ingenuity. It's not a matter of superior intelligence or character, but it is just an obsessive reflection on one's failures and learn from that. And an example is the APGAR score that was developed by an anesthesiologist way back 70, 80 years ago in a New York hospital that has since been saving millions of babies at the time of their birth by applying this score right at the time of the childbirth. So medicine, as he said, and so truly, is to live a life of responsibility. And no doctor can escape this. And there are other factors related to this COVID. There will be preference by patients, those who need care, for proximity. So that means the urban practices, urban big hospitals will have less demand in future because people would not like to travel long distances. So there'll be more small urban and rural locations for medical practices and medical centers. All people in healthcare profession, at least in the next few years, should be prepared to accept less financial compensation. Our own experience during this time, and as we are at the end of 6 months, is reflected in this slide. This was our September 2020 patient volumes. At the very bottom of our pyramid, where we provide community-based care through what we call Vision Guardians, through screening programs, etc., we had almost no program. The only thing we have replaced it for the past 3 months is home care, where our staff fully robed in PPE gear go to patients' individual homes and are screening people who need care in the rural areas and tribal areas. But the numbers are very minimal. But at the next level, our primary care vision centers, one for every 50,000 people in remote rural and tribal areas, we have a pleasant surprise. 120% of the pre-COVID volume. The demand has already increased from the pre-COVID volume. That means people are now beginning to go to the centers closer to them to seek care. And the same was reflected in our rural secondary centers. These are our rural hospitals, where for the first time we are even seeing a waiting list for surgery we never had before. And some of our secondary centers actually last month had 200% of the pre-COVID volumes. So much so we had to send some of our doctors from our tertiary centers to go and help there. But the story is also reflected in the tertiary centers, urban areas. We are struggling to catch up and build up the volumes. In our tertiary centers, it's come up to only 70%. And in our Hyderabad campus, it's only 60%. Because traditionally Hyderabad campus was taking care of about 40% to 45% people coming from other states of India. And that number has dropped significantly. That is clearly reflected in this. So this gives you an idea that in future, more and more people will seek care in facilities closer to them. So this all should reflect in future planning. We have also begun to use more and more technology. Here is a simple tool using cardboard with which you can check the person for the need for a pair of glasses. This costs about 100 rupees and won several prizes. For the past 5 years, we have been using it, employed in several programs throughout the country and abroad. And that will give you an idea whether a person requires glasses or not. This is another one which replaces the visual field machine at a cost of probably 20% of the visual field machine. It will give you an idea of the visual field of an individual of all age groups and at various positions of the individual. And the people can buy it and keep at homes. Those people who have glaucoma do their own testing at home and send the results to the doctor through their smartphones. So these are all the innovations that are being applied at our centers increasingly so that more and more people don't have to actually come to the medical centers. Pictures can be taken of the inside of the eye, and also a person can be examined remotely where the patient is sitting 200-300 miles away and the doctor is sitting in another location and examining the patient directly to a robotized slit lamp machine. So you can examine the patient remotely. And all this is connected to a command center in the main tertiary centers where the specialist looks at them and gives the opinion and treatment. This is again linked to the electronic medical record system that will collect all the data, analyze the data. Out of that comes all the artificial intelligence for the future and for the programs of artificial intelligence. So increasingly, this technology is coming on board. That together with the properly trained professionals will make all the difference. For the past 6 months, we have done many online digital programs of education. Over 1,000 online training programs were given. Per month alone, 600 for our internal people are being given in terms of education. So more and more digital education will be the future. Connect Care is something that we are doing with our patients, where patient can directly give all the information through the smartphones to the specialist, and the specialist can look at the access the medical record immediately, and then look at the patient both together. And wherever that is required after that consultation, the patient may be asked to come for a physical visit or may be given advice right on that visit. The third element I was talking to you about is tenderness. We have now developed a program for care for the elderly. A special institute is being built within our program, iCare for the Elderly Institute. And a part of that will be home care, employing all these technological tools and also our staff going to the homes of people and providing the necessary care. So this also includes to help the people beyond eye care, particularly in situations like COVID. From our 20 rural secondary centers and 190 vision centers, we have made 7 lakh phone calls to our old patients to find out about their welfare, how they are doing, how their families are doing, whether they needed any help during this crisis. And also where they did not even have resources for their daily needs. We raised money from among the staff, and over 1,000 families were provided daily needs during this past 6 months. That is going beyond eye care and telling them that we are part of your community. We are not just eye care centers, and we work together with you, and we share everything with you. We also try to educate as many people in these rural areas as possible about the COVID and the precautions they should be taking. So that brings in the element of empathy. So those professionals and organizations which can combine excellence, that is quality care, make it available to everybody that needs care, irrespective of their socioeconomic status or ability to pay, and add an element of empathy will be the winners in future. So if I were to become a crystal gazer, I would say definitely in our country and in many developing countries, we require more primary care vision centers to replace ICAMs. ICAMs will be probably a thing of the past. We require more secondary centers in the rural areas. The tertiary centers we need will be much smaller in future. No more big, major institutions, physical structures will be required. Tele-ophthalmology will have to be incorporated into our practice. The professionals will have to be willing to migrate to small towns and rural areas if they want to succeed. And more professionals will be involved in the care and each one doing less volumes. That means decongestion of all the services because of the problems created by pandemic. And there will be another pandemic, whether we like it or not. It's only a question of when. If is not a question, when is the question? The way we are in this world and the climate, that is inevitable. So we have to prepare ourselves to face those challenges of the future. We also have to develop new strategies for financial sustainability. And all healthcare personnel should be willing to accept lower compensation, at least in the immediate future. The recent World Report on Vision published by the World Health Organization talks of integrated people-centered eye care. That is their aspiration. But that is what we have been practicing already in LVP for the past 20 years. And I believe this will be the model for the future, and we are very happy that we have developed this ahead of time, and we are well positioned to meet the current crisis as we go into the future. So the future of eye care should be one of comprehensive, that is prevention programs, care, of treatment, and then rehabilitation. Commitment to quality. Take care closer to the doorstep of the people who need it most, as much of the care as possible. And there should be continuity of care in communities, no longer eye camps, fly-by-night kind of operations anymore. And it has to be compassionate. And there should be strong community ownership and participation in healthcare. I conclude this with this quote from J.K. Rowling from her Harvard graduation lecture about 10 years ago. It is very telling, and no better time is it more apt than today, and for all of us. Your intelligence, your capacity for hard work, the education you have earned give you unique status and responsibilities. That's your privilege and your burden. If you choose to identify not only with the powerful, but with the powerless, if you retain the ability to imagine yourself into the lives of those who do not have your advantages, then it will not only be your proud families who celebrate your existence, but thousands and millions of people whose reality you help change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. The knowledge that you have imparted is really, we can say, eye-opening for all of us. Thank you so much for sparing time for us. Dr. Rao, I remember your journey in sight brought you to Jaipur. And as you said, the progress of EBSR is a model in the whole country. And you were the गंगोत्री आपसे शुरू हुई डॉक्टर साहब, और गंगोत्री जिससे जो साथ आपके जो जिन्होंने यहाँ लाने की वो हमारी हेल्प की, वो थे हमारे भावना जगवानी जी। तो भावना जगवानी जी को आई डोनेशन के साथ ही जोड़ा गया है जयपुर में। सारे राजस्थान में कोई आई डोनेशन की बात हो तो वो भावना का ही नाम जानता है, भावना का ही नंबर जानता है। EBSR भावना से ही शुरू हुआ। तो उस जर्नी के बारे में मैं भावना जी से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि डॉक्टर राव से कैसे शुरुआत की आपने, और हाउ वाज द जर्नी भावना जी?
Thank you for the very informative talk, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much. So we are really lagging behind in so many ways, and that was obvious in this informative talk that we just heard. I would like to thank Dr. Rao for bringing iBanking to Rajasthan. And I would firstly like to thank Lalita Raghuram, because she was the one who connected me to Dr. Rao and to also Dr. Shroff. So Rajasthan has benefited through these great visionary people. And Dr. Rao ka kya kehna? He has literally held a hand. He's actually held our hands and taught us so much that मुझे कोई शब्द नहीं है कहने को how Rajasthan progressed. It's a small story that I had lost my vision for some time before my third delivery, and before Harshvardhan was born, and that gave me an insight of what blind people are. And little did I know that this is a responsibility or seva thrust on me by my Guru Babaji to take this challenge for Rajasthan. And it was Dr. Rao who just, literally baby steps, every baby step he held our hand and he taught us so much. And every time he would keep coming to Jaipur, Mehta Saab used to think कि इतना बड़ा आदमी इतना जल्दी जल्दी जयपुर कैसे आ रहा है for small functions. So that's when Dr. Rao told Mehta Saab that you don't know how well your Rajasthan is picking up in this field. So whatever progress has happened in Rajasthan in iBanking field, we actually owe it to Dr. Rao.
भावना जी, जैसे आपने कहा कि पता नहीं लगता था, मेहता साहब कहते भी इतना बड़ा आदमी छोटे छोटे काम के लिए जयपुर कैसे आ जाता है। तो मेरे को कल याद आ रही थी कि डॉक्टर राव की जब इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ते हैं तो वी आर इन ऑ के वाकई उनसे बात कैसे करेंगे। लेकिन डॉक्टर राव फॉर जयपुर एंड फॉर यू स्पेशली इज लाइक लॉर्ड कृष्णा टू अर्जुन। वो सखा हैं, मतलब ही इज नॉट दैट बिग मैन फॉर अस, ही इज अ सखा, थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर राव कि आप हमारे सखा बन के रहते हैं और आज भी आप सखा की तरह से हमें सब गाइड कर रहे हैं। मैं भावना जी उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा स्वाति जी से कि स्वाति जी ने यही सारी जर्नी ऑफ साइट ट्रांसलेट किया। उन्होंने ट्रांसप्लांट करते समय या और जो भी बातें उन्होंने इस सेवा जो की, तो डॉक्टर स्वाति से मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि डॉक्टर स्वाति आप प्लीज थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में हाईलाइट करें।
Swati is our transplant in Jaipur.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Actually, I owe my career and my everything to Dr. Rao and LV Prasad Eye Institute. Little did we know that how this institute is going to change our future, not only for me, but all the people who have gone for a fellowship there and have actually lived there and worked there in that hospital would know that what kind of place it is, and it is an out of a world experience which you would never find even in anywhere in the world. And I remember one of my appraisals with Dr. Rao. As a fellow, we used to be appraised by our faculty, and especially Dr. Rao, once in a while, once in like 6 months, used to call us individually and ask that how they are doing, and a one-to-one interaction. And he asked me one day during the appraisal that I was finishing my fellowship and I was planning to go back home and starting, and it's a very small place that I had come from, and Aligarh is a very small place in UP, a small town in UP, and little did we know that what Hyderabad or LVP is. And he called me once and he asked me, Ki, how did your fellowship go, and do you think that was it helpful? I thought it was such a humble question to me. You know, a person who had never seen corneal transplantation during the post-graduation ever, never even heard about, because I was in a medical college, a government medical college. I had not seen, I had not done, I had not assisted. And I finished my fellowship with about more than 500 transplant as a fellow. So you can imagine the amount of work. So when he asked me, how did your fellowship go, or were you able to learn something? It came as a surprise to me. It knocked my head, and I said, Dr. Rao, I don't know what to say. It's you are there for this. But then I just told him one thing, that when I went to the library last night and I picked up the Wills-Eye manual, which is one of the a manual of ophthalmology and cornea from around the world, all the pictures with a little description. It's an atlas and it's a manual that we can see the picture and diagnose. I said I was going through that manual last night, and I do not remember a single disease entity that I did not see during my fellowship. Throughout the manual, we used to play this game that we used to cover the diagnosis and see the pictures amongst the fellows, and we used to diagnose, and not even a single picture we could not diagnose. So you could see the level of training that we got as a surgeon, as a corneal transplant surgeon, and the empathy factor, which Dr. Rogers said, that it is such a big institute with so many patients and you are on the run throughout day and night. But that empathy factor, I also remember one of the meetings when I was in the clinic looking after one of the OPDs, and Dr. Rao barged into the OPD, and he said, did you check with the patient that how she's doing? And I had asked the patient to sit in the lounge for a while, and we are going to call her back again for some tests. So he said, did you talk to that patient? And I was a fellow, I was scared. I was scared to death that Dr. Rao came up and said, did you ask this patient? So I said, yeah, I told him everything, and we're going to call back. You wouldn't imagine, he went to the lounge, he checked with the patient in Telugu that, did she treat you well? Did she tell you that you are supposed to have your tiffin or your lunch in the meantime when the reports are going to come back, because we are going to see you back in an hour? And are you comfortable? Did she talk to you properly? And that is when he was convinced that the fellow or the people who are in training there have actually spent time with the patient in their own dialect and telling them how they all should do it. I mean, that's a different thing altogether. Imagine Dr. Rao coming up and telling a non-paying patient who is like ill-clad in her dhoti, a little lady, very old, 90-year-old, sitting there and grabbing a file there and sitting in the lounge and waiting, and she doesn't know what to do. She has come to this big hospital. Those who have told her that she'll get operated for free and nothing would be charged. So he walks up and talks. So that's the empathy or the tenderness that he talked about, which is very important. And I really owe this, and that's what I inculcated. I inculcated all these habits, and I think I'm really proud and I'm really happy to have him as a mentor right now, also all throughout the difficult times that we face and I have faced. So I can always call up and walk into his chamber anytime at LVP, and he's always there to help. So that empathy, tenderness, which has to grow, and which was always there, and all that I learned here, I try to inculcate among my patients also. And as a surgeon, I not only operate them, but when they come for visits, and sometimes we get to know the other part of the stories also, that I actually take time out to interact for 2 to 5 minutes with the patient, just to know that the financial condition is okay or not, will we be able to treat properly or not, or would she be able to continue with the follow-ups or not. So this is what I learned in LVP during my fellowship.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. You have given another angle how we should see Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao, I come back to you. Yesterday, our member Gobind Gurbani gave me a very interesting story about about a film which is on the background of LV Prasad Institute. एक दूजे के लिए. Dr. Sahab, can you please tell something about that from your mouth?
No, that was one of the most successful movies made by Mr. L.V. Prasad, and where they made a lot of profit. And most of that profit was the one which he gave to the trust that funded our institute.
Okay. Such a great thing, what you are talking about philanthropy, here also will just after talking to recipients and donor, we have a donor family with us and a recipient family. So I'll invite the donor family. Dr. Sahab, donor family का क्या नाम है?
Ramchandar is here with us.
Ramchandar. इसको दिखाएंगे अदिति रामचंद्र को.
रामचंद्र, आप अनम्यूट करो अपना माइक और अपना कैमरा ऑन करो अगर आप कर सकते हो तो.
जी. जी बोलिए मैम.
बेटे आप अपने बारे में बताओगे, किसकी आई डोनेट किया आपने?
सब मैंने मेरे फैमिली में से ताऊ थे मेरे.
ओके.
उसकी मैंने आई डोनेट करवाई थी.
अच्छा, तो आपको आई डोनेट करने की प्रेरणा कहाँ से मिली?
आई बैंक में मुझे वहां में जब मोर्चरी में गया एसएमएस के मुर्दाघर में, तो वहाँ भावना जगवानी जी मिले थे मुझे. उन्होंने काउंसलर किया, उसके बाद में मैंने आई डोनेशन किया था.
तो ऐसा आपको पहली बार पता लगा होगा कि आई डोनेट भी हो सकती है, और वो भी मृत्यु के बाद. तो डोनेट करने के बाद आज तक आपको कैसी फीलिंग होती है, कैसा लगता है आपको कि मेरे से क्या अच्छा करवा दिया?
साहब ये है कि हमारे ताऊ जी की आंखों से कोई भी 2 लोग देख रहे हैं आज भी, बाकी हम ऐसे ही जला देते हैं. उससे बढ़िया है अगर कोई 2 लोग उन आंखों से देखें.
आज आपका रामचंद्र संदेश विश्व दृष्टि दिवस पर बहुत बड़ा संदेश है कि आंखों को जला देने की बजाय अगर आंखों को दान कर देते हैं तो बहुत मानवता का भला होता है. थैंक यू सो मच. स्वाति जी, कोई और भी डोनर हैं हमारे साथ?
We have a recipient. From, Meenakshi Sharma ji hai. She got her eyes operated. She had infection in her eyes and she was not able to see, and she got her eyes operated at LV Prasad Eye Institute. Somebody referred her from Rajasthan, and then वो जब वहाँ गई तो उनका experience एक different था, and we have with her Meenakshi. Are you there? Meenakshi is there with us, and she will tell you about her experiences, and then she is in constant follow-up here at Jaipur. Meenakshi, please.
Hello everyone. Myself Meenakshi Sharma. First of all, I thank ma'am provide me the opportunity to the front of such dignitaries. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I had a little problem in my eye 2 years back, and I just followed some instructions provided by the doctors over here in Jhunjhunu only. I'm from Jhunjhunu actually. So I just followed one doctor, then another, and then I was referred to Jaipur. Jaipur, I just followed 4 doctors, different doctors. And about 2 months time passed, but then suddenly someone suggested either to go to Hyderabad or to Bangalore. So immediately, without wasting time, I just flew to Hyderabad. And over there, I just got cured from my disease, because 2 महीने के अंदर अंदर मेरी आंखों में लगभग फंगल भी हो गया था और इन्फेक्शन भी हो गया था. And over there, the doctor said कि अगर late होते तो I hope you would have lost your eyesight. So thank God and thank to the people who suggested me to go there. And over there, I got my eyes cured. और obviously ये कोई donor ही थे जिनकी वजह से मेरी आंखों की रोशनी वापस आ पाई. So I will provide the message to each and everyone who comes to my contact कि अपनी eyes and अपने organs donate जरूर करें, so that everybody could get the benefit that what kind of pain I had, ताकि उस pain से कोई और ना गुजर सके. So I would suggest everyone. So I just thank ma'am also कि भाई she is still in my contact and just curing whatever problems I am having in my eyes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Meenakshi ji.
Ravi ji, we have one more, if we can take
Ji,
for
yes,
a minute.
yes, please.
We have one more recipient, Vinod, with us. विनोद, आप हैं तो आप एक बार अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताइए, आपको जब आंख लगी तो. विनोद, आप अपना माइक अनम्यूट करिए और फिर बोलिए. अनम्यूट कर लीजिए विनोद. Edmund can unmute his mic. Edmund, if and then said, Dr. Rao, I don't know what to say. If you are there. Edmund, can you unmute mic of Vinod? Is it possible?
नमस्ते मैम.
हाँ बोलिए.
दिखा भी दीजिए.
विनोद, आप बोलिए.
मैम, हेलो.
हाँ बोलिए, आपकी आवाज आ रही है.
I think there's a problem. Ravi ji, we can continue.
Yeah. Thank you, स्वाति जी. आपने आज का जो प्रोग्राम है विश्व दृष्टि दिवस का, उसमें आपने डोनर को और रेसिपिएंट दोनों को हमें बात करवाई. मतलब so nice of you. और towards the end of this beautiful program, every good things, they come to an end, and so is this meeting. But I am talking about a person. Dr. Saab, you were talking about the LV Prasad donation and the institute that came out of his philanthropy. And here also in Jaipur, we have a philanthropist with us, Mr. Rohit Sabu. और कमाल की बात यह है कि जो philanthropist होते हैं या जो इस तरह से मदद के लिए आगे आते हैं किसी भी अच्छे कॉज के लिए, वो normally they are there for accolades and welcomes. But here Mr. Rohit Sabu is with us again as a Sakha, who is here to give a vote of thanks, and so nice gesture from him. So I'll request Mr. Rohit Sabu to come for vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, Ravi ji. So,
Rohit,
yeah.
Could you share with us what your heart and how your heart gives out so much, and how you have supported us for the last 5 years? And organ donation would not be possible in Rajasthan without you. Could you share with us your thought on this?
That is too much to share. It is not that organ donation could not have happened. There would have been somebody or the other who would have supported this. All of you are frontliners, and so I thank from the bottom of my heart all the frontliners who are doing all the hard work. And I'm lucky to be associated with the CK Birla group, who are big philanthropists themselves, and therefore I could support the cause. And I remember Bhavna ji and Ashok Bhaiya had come to my office and convinced me. I never knew there was, sometimes when you have, or, I mean, if you are healthy, you don't realize the problem of other people. And they explained me about the eye donation and organ donation. And luckily, it was God's will that I could help, and therefore I helped. And I mean, it is so great to be associated in the background with people like Dr. Rao and Dr. Swati and Rajiv ji and Bhavna, yourself, and this thing. So Dr. Rao, the only thing, I mean, human tendency is to associate something or the other small thing with great people. The only thing common between you and me is I also studied in Rochester. And I hope you remember the snow there. I mean, it used to snow 6 months and this thing. And see, I can never do the hard work of either convincing people, the family of the people who have recently expired, to donate or this thing, or take part in obviously take part in a surgery or this thing. So the only thing I can do is support from behind, and that I can assure I'll continue to do. And thank you very much all, and thank you for your great work. And it is so great to be associated with you, and thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rohit ji. And here we, all of us will listen a song and end this meeting with a beautiful feeling. कि देना क्या होता है, what is the joy of giving. तो विक्रम जी आप हैं? विक्रम जी, अदिति, विक्रम जी आए क्या?
जी जी जी, नमस्कार, मैं यहीं पे हूँ सर
जी, प्लीज।
रामराज सर, नमस्कार। मेरा सबको सादर पूर्वक नमस्कार है सर। MF JCF और राजीव सर, कामरा जी, भावना जी, स्वाति जी और डॉक्टर राव और साबू जी, आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं एक गाना आप लोगों के लिए प्रस्तुत करना चाह रहा हूँ जो इसी देने के भाव पर ही है, तो प्लीज अलाउ मी। I think the sound is clear.
जी।
मधुबन खुशबू देता है, सागर सावन देता है, जीना उसका जीना है, जो औरों को जीवन देता है, मधुबन खुशबू देता है। सूरज ना बन पाए तो बन के दीपक जलता चल, सूरज ना बन पाए तो बन के दीपक जलता चल, ले जाऊंगा रे सच की राहों पे चलता चल, सच की राहों पे चलता चल, प्यार दिलों को देता है, अशकों को दामन देता है, जीना इसका जीना है। जो औरों को जीवन देता है, मधुबन खुशबू देता है। सागर सावन देता है, मधुबन खुशबू देता है। Thank you so much. I hope you liked it.
बहुत बढ़िया विक्रम,
Thank you.
बहुत अच्छे।
Thank you sir. Thank you sir.
रवि जी, भविष्य में विक्रम को आप परमानेंट बना लो, अपने हर प्रोग्राम के एंड में एक मीठी आवाज में सुनेंगे।
और अरोड़ा साहब, ये ही इज जस्ट नॉट अ सिंगर, ही इज अ डोनर फैमिली। इन्होंने अपनी मदर के ऑर्गन्स डोनेट किए थे जी।
आई नो विक्रम फ्रॉम लॉन्ग टाइम, मेनी इयर्स।
या रेणु उबा के ब्रदर हैं ये
जी। बिल्कुल मुझे मालूम है। और इंडियन एयरलाइंस के ऑफिसर हैं, बड़े सीनियर और बड़े सज्जन पुरुष हैं। अच्छा, इनकी आदत में ही लोगों की हेल्प करना है। तो मेरी मुलाकात तो इनसे ऐसी हुई थी। ये अपने आप आगे आ जाते हैं किसी का सहयोग करने के लिए। बहुत बढ़िया इंसान है। थैंक यू विक्रम। बहुत
थैंक यू सर। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर साहब।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू अनिल जी, रेणु जी, विक्रम जी for making this program so wonderful.
Thanks everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you डॉक्टर साहब।
स्वाति बहुत बढ़िया बोली।
Thank you so much.
Thank you Swati. Thank you Dr. Rao. Thank you for sparing time Dr. Rao.
डॉक्टर राव।
Yeah, this was for Dr. Rao.
डॉक्टर राव का आशीर्वाद ऐसा बना रहना चाहिए इस प्रोग्राम के ऊपर। That's very important. We all need your blessings always.
Thank you.
Rohit, thank you for taking out time, Rohit.
Thank you very much. Thank you to be associated.
And now we take leave from all of you. Thank you so much for joining and your guidance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you sir. Bye bye. Thank you.